there are multiple realities, and it depends on the level of our vibrations. So you enter the reality that corresponds to your vibrations, the samskaras or vibrations that you have developed in this lifetime determine the reality you enter after your death. Hi guys, today our topic is parallel reality. If we leave the matrix, where do we go after the matrix? What reality exists beyond the matrix? Where should we strive to? The ultimate reality is a reunion with the Creator, and the goal of yoga is complete reunification with the Creator. But this goal is too far away, and I know about it only theoretically, and I don't like to talk about what I know theoretically. I tell about what I personally experienced and felt on my own. On the path to the ultimate goal, there are intermediate levels of exiting the matrix. Today we will talk about these intermediate realities. What is an intermediate reality? When we leave the body after death, we enter a sort of distribution center. It is located in the astral world. Some sources provide details about these distribution centers. For example, in ancient yogic texts like Srimad Bhagavatam, as well in some modern sources, which I'll talk about later. As I mentioned in the previous video, there are three modes of nature, or gunas of material nature, described in the Bhagavad Gita. It depends on which guna you are in. You are distributed through this distribution center and move to certain lokas. Lokas means specific levels in the universe. It depends on the guna, guys. So if you are in the mode of goodness, sattva guna, and you leave the body, you go to the higher realms. Higher realms are those that exist above the Earth's level. Earth is the middle level, and it is situated in the center of the universe, according to yogic texts. Those who are in the mode of ignorance go to lower realms, meaning dense and dark layers of material existence. Moreover, most of them end up in animal forms of life. The path is for those who are in degradation. It's a path of not evolution, but on the contrary, degradation. You degrade from higher forms of life to lower forms of life. That is, what we were talking about is a certain reality that we enter after leaving the body. This means that there are multiple realities, and it depends on the level of our vibrations. So you enter the reality that corresponds to your vibrations, the samskaras or vibrations that you have developed in this lifetime determine the reality you enter after your death. As I mentioned before, according to yoga, there are three modes of material nature, or gunas: sattva or goodness, rajas or passion, and tamas or ignorance. The Bhagavad Gita has a whole chapter about these three modes.
Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes.
Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Sattva, rajas, and tamas. And these are not just three modes or levels, but in reality there are 9 levels, because each of these levels further divides into 3 sub-levels. So it becomes 9 levels, and in each person these energies are present in different proportions. These levels mix within each person. You know how a color image is formed on a television, with 3 main colors: red, blue, and green. When these rays mix in the television, all other colors are formed. Similarly, these 3 modes mix and create a variety of different energies, different personalities. These 3 energies are present in different proportions in each person. It depends on which mode predominates in your nature. Therefore, there are different levels depending on your consciousness, your vibrations. You enter a distribution center where your accumulated samskaras for this life are reviewed together with you. Then you are distributed to the corresponding levels of reality.
When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains the pure higher planets of the great sages.
To simplify, if sattva guna predominates in you, you go to the higher realms. If raja guna predominates in you, you are born on earth. And if tamas predominates in you, you go to lower worlds, to the heavy dense layers of matter and also to life forms with lower consciousness, in other words to animal forms.
When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in furtive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds.
So it's a path of degradation. You can evolve or degrade. You have complete freedom of choice. All these individuals, alcoholics, drug addicts, criminals, well, all the negativity, they are all human garbage that is recycled and directed towards lower forms of life. They mishandle human form of life, therefore this form is taken away from them, and they'll not return to human form of life for a long time. So guys, there are three gunas of nature, and in yoga there are three levels of realizing a reality. That is, the higher realms are also divided into three levels. And there are three types of yoga that lead to different levels of realization of the reality. Well, we won't dwell on that now, so as not to confuse the things. Now, which reality, where do we go after death? In ancient texts it is said that there is abode or loka. Loka means a level in the universe, and on this level there is an universal distributor, and there are 4 entrances there. So those who have tamas as a predominant guna, those with low vibrations enter through the 1,000 gates into this distribution city, or rather they are forcibly brought there. The rest, those whose gunas of passion and goodness are developed, enter through the 3 other gates, the eastern, northern and western gate. In this distributor, an analysis of your life takes place, so to speak, an universal judgment where your entire life is reviewed like on a screen, and it's assessed according how well you have fulfilled your earthly mission. And there are supercomputers there that record all our metaphysical data, and there is even an universal internet called Akasha. And all of this is made of subtle matter which is controlled by consciousness. You don't have to press any buttons. Everything is controlled by thought and your vibrations. That is, after the soul leaves the body, it first goes to this level, to the preliminary distributor. And then, based on how your life is evaluated, how well you have fulfilled your mission, you are directed to the level where you will stay for a certain period of time before being reincarnated on Earth. And depending on which loka you end up in, there are different realities, and the main factors are your inner qualities, your vibrations. There is one universal religion, and depending on what form of spiritual life you practice on Earth, you can enter the sphere where similar beings reside. There is a separation based on common similar vibrations. In general, guys, all sounds smooth in words, but practically the soul after death is a kind of psychological shock, because for many there is a rupture of their patterns, a rupture of beliefs, a rupture of their convictions, because the religions teachings they followed on earth may not coincide or partially coincide with the reality that appears before them. To be short, in general everything will correspond to what is written in religious texts, but not at all how you imagine it. That's the way it is, because here on earth we are in layers of dense matter, and our ability to receive information is greatly limited by the capabilities of our body, by the capabilities of our mindset, our thinking. There the information is much more diverse, and the main criteria is your vibrational level. Dependence on sex greatly lowers your vibrations, so it's very important to practice celibacy on earth, because sex is the basis of karma. Sex lowers your consciousness to a material bodily level. You start to identify yourself with the body. Therefore, when you leave this body, there is a rupture of your belief patterns. At the same time, the sexual dependency remains in your subtle body. In general, there are also many speculations and misconceptions surrounding this topic, which are invented by various infogurus and info-charlatans. There is a lot of garbage about this topic, so you should only trust the information contained in ancient yogic texts or information obtained from people who have practically proven the authenticity of the information. One of those people was Chico Xavier. You can Google who this person was. In the history of Brazilian justice, an unprecedented case occurred when a judge was forced to drop all charges against a defendant and release him right from the courtroom based on a letter. But what a letter it was! This letter was written by Chico Xavier, dictated by a person whom defendant allegedly killed. Graphological analysis confirms the authenticity of signature and handwriting. Maybe I want to make a separate video about Chico Xavier later. There is a very interesting film called The Astral City that talks about these locus where people go after life. So I watched this film, The Astral City, and was amazed how accurately it corresponds to what I have read in yogic books. However, in yogic texts, many things are mentioned briefly without going into details. Here, very detailed information is presented, which greatly expands your worldview, which allows you to put together the missing puzzles and to see the whole picture. In this film, there is a lot of detailed information about the reality between lives. But even here, the information is not complete. Therefore, you have to gather information bit by bit, and some of it is found in ancient texts. For example, in Manu Samhita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the yogic texts contain information not only about the reality that awaits us after leaving the body, but also about the reality that exists beyond the material world. Maybe we will touch upon this later. But I'm only speaking about things that I have personally experienced based on my own life experience. I don't want to talk about things I don't understand or feel. It doesn't make much sense to talk about the ultimate levels of reality where you go after shedding all material coverings, where you leave your ego. Because we are too far from that level and can only speak about intermediate realities, or we can listen to a yogi who has reached those levels. But it's not easy because there are many charlatans who bluff and deceive people for money under various pretexts. But I personally know yogis who don't bluff, who transmit from their level of reality, and their level is far higher than mine. So guys, that's how it is. We'll continue this topic in future videos. I'll approach it gradually and not reveal everything immediately, because I don't want it to be perceived as something cheap, like fiction. This is not fiction. You have to back up your every word. You must find answers and verify it through your own experience, my friends. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for your comments. They inspire me greatly. I understand that there are people who find this topic interesting, and even if it has fewer views, I am not discouraged because this topic is close to me. So guys, that was my message for today. Thank you for watching. Thank God. Good luck you all. Bye.